Hey there! Tonight I am making chicken saltimbocca for dinner. It's based on an old Pampered Chef recipe from a cookbook we don't carry anymore. Let's take a look. I'm going to show you, I'm going to kind of go backwards with this so you can see how to put it together. This one is just ready now to pull off of the skillet. So it's chicken breast, prosciutto, some Parmesan, a little bit of seasoning, really easy. So this is the end part. So we're going to kind of go backwards. I put the cutlets in, prosciutto side down for 3 minutes, flipped it and cooked it for just a little bit longer. So here we go. We've got these golden pieces. You can see the prosciutto right here. So I'm just going to set it on my platter. We're going to go ahead and make the sauce that's going to go on top. Very, very simple recipe. And you can adjust this with all different types of proteins. You can make it with turkey. You can make it with pork medallions. So I'm going to show you how to prep the chicken in just a little bit. So once your chicken is cooked, you're going to make a bit of a pan sauce. And because I'm using the stainless non-stick skillet, you can see these little brown bits in the pan. And that's going to add some nice flavor. So I'm just going to add our finishing ingredients here. Let's see, I'm going to grab my whisk. We're going to add some butter and some chicken broth, and that is going to be our sauce. So if you want to skip this step, you absolutely can. It's still going to be delicious. I'm just following the original recipe to show you. Going to go ahead and add the broth. So it's just half a cup of chicken broth. I'm using broth out of a box. If you have bouillon, you want to use that. I prefer, if you're buying bouillon, get the kind that's low sodium because it's really, really salty, I think. So we're just going to let this kind of reduce just a little bit. And while it's doing that, I'm going to show you how to prep the chicken before it goes in the skillet to begin with. It's pretty simple. I like easy recipes, especially on a weeknight. And this is one of those winning ones that I think is kind of restaurant quality. So we've got a chicken breast here in the closing cut. If you're just joining me, we're going backwards. I showed you the end, almost the end. And now we are prepping from the beginning. So I wanted you to be able to see from start to finish. So put your chicken in our closing cut. The plates move, so when you close it over your chicken breast and slice, you get a nice thin slice of your chicken breast. So it'll all cook a little bit faster. So I've got some tongs here, so just take a look. It's nice and thin. And that'll be enough for what we need to do here together. I know you guys see the little nose over here. Her nose is actually further away than it appears. It's kind of like that rearview mirror sign. It says, you know, images are further or closer than they appear. Hers is further than it appears. So don't worry, I'm not getting dog slobber in my dinner. All is good. So for this recipe, it's nice to be able to flatten your chicken even more. So I've got a thin cutlet to start, and then I'm going to pound it slightly. So I like to pound it inside of a bag. It makes it a lot cleaner, and I'm just going to put both of them in there at the same time. So when you put your chicken in here, you're going to take the meat tenderizer to flatten it. So I've got that right here. Our meat tenderizer is actually reversible. I'm using the flat side. If you want to do more, you know, tough sides of meat, you're going to use this side, but you wouldn't use this really for chicken. So you've got it in your Ziploc bag, and then I've done this one already. Just pound it slightly. You don't want to totally destroy it. You just want to pound it a little bit. And that's good. So they're all the same thickness, and this is why those cutlets cook so fast. All right, want to make sure that pan sauce is looking good. All right, next up. In here, I have gluten-free flour, 3 tablespoons, and then an ounce of grated Parmesan cheese. So if you watched me a couple days ago, I grated a whole wedge of Parmesan that I can use in different recipes throughout. You can use regular flour, that's what the recipe calls for. I'm a fan of the gluten-free King Arthur flour, so that's what I'm going to use here tonight. Here's where it gets kind of fun. You can add your own flair to this. So I'm hoping that when you join me for these little cooking videos, that you're not just learning a recipe, but you're learning ideas that you can make it your own. So just lay the chicken right in your flour and Parmesan mixture. And the original recipe called for some chopped sage leaves or sliced sage leaves kind of laid over the top. If you have that, use it. I'm just gonna use some Italian seasoning and add a little bit to the top. And most of you have that. You can do basil, whatever dry seasoning you have. And then we're gonna use some prosciutto. So depending on what part of the country you live in, it's prosciutto or it might be prosciutto, whatever you say. It's an Italian deli ham. And what made me think of making this recipe, actually, I'm gonna tear it because we don't need the whole thing, is that my husband and I have been watching travel shows on Netflix or some, I don't know, maybe not Netflix. And you know, we miss traveling right now. So we're watching these shows and they were in Italy recently and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And they were showing how they make the prosciutto there and the Romano cheese and the Parmesan. It just made me want to travel. So we're gonna do it through food. So once you've got it coated on one side, flip it over, go on the other, and then this cutlet is ready, okay? So once you have them all prepared like this, you're gonna add a bit of olive oil in your pan, and that's where we picked up before. Watch out, Gracie. So here we go. Our butter mixture is right here. So backing up a little bit, you know, I just finished that cutlet. I'd have a little bit of olive oil here. Prosciutto side down first for about 3 to 4 minutes. Flip it and do another 1 to 2 minutes until your chicken is done. And that's where we started this video together tonight. At that point, we add some butter, some broth, and here we are ready to finish it. So I've got the pan or the platter right here with the finished chicken. And you're just gonna kind of give a little swirl and then you just drizzle this pan sauce right over the top. And it's gonna be so delicious. You probably don't need all of it. That's just, it's mostly broth, but just enough. So you could serve this with some angel hair pasta. We have some leftover rice that I want to use up and a salad, and we're gonna call it good. So there you go, chicken saltimbocca. I hope you will try doing this yourself. If you can get turkey cutlets, you can do that, or pork medallions. Just make sure everything's flat and you'll have a delicious, quick, easy meal with lots of flavor. Will you try it?